What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we are going to be going over our series, our weekly Friday series of 3 Up and 3 Down. If you've never checked out the series before, I'm going to be bringing you 3 teams that are playing well, 3 teams that are not, and 1 team to be on the lookout for. So we're going to begin with the first up. Now, there's no doubt about it that first up is the Tampa Bay Rays. They have a 6-0 record. They're still the only undefeated team in 2023 right now. So very good start for Tampa Bay. And I think that when you look at this squad, this is a team that has perennially been a contender. And right now they're off to a very hot start, mostly with their offense. So we know that Tampa is a pitching first organization, but it's been their offense that has really carried them. They're plus 31 in the run differential column through the first 6 games of the season. So league best. Now, as we look at the first down, it is the Philadelphia Phillies as they head back home to make their home opener, where they're going to be raising the National League Championship banner of 2022. They only have 1 win to show for their records. They are 1-5 after the first 6 games. It's been a rough start for Philadelphia, but I think that getting back home, playing in front of that fan base, is really going to be what puts them in the right trajectory. I think that they were dealt a very big blow by losing Rhys Hoskins so early or so late in spring training, so early in the season, and already knowing you weren't going to have Bryce Harper. And that's 2 of your emotional leaders in the clubhouse that have now been taken away because they're not on active competition. So it is something that Philadelphia is having to figure out. But I think that going back home with the crowd behind them, the support that they're going to get, especially after raising that championship banner, I think is going to be giving them an opportunity to kind of rein it back in and get themselves back into a position of success. But for now, they're the first down. As we look at the second up, it is the Atlanta Braves. Now, the Braves are a hungry team. They got to the World Series and won it just a couple of seasons ago, and they want to make sure that they return to it. They are 6-1 after the first 7 games of their season. This 2023 campaign has truly been the Ronald Acuna Jr. show, and he has been going off. This is absolutely the type of performance that you're expecting from him. This is the type of performance that really could put him in a serious conversation for the National League Most Valuable Player. Now, it will require him being healthy all season, and that's been something that has plagued him throughout the early part of his career. But if he can stay healthy for the entire 2023 campaign, this is a very good sign for the Atlanta Braves. Now, as we look at the second down, it is the Washington Nationals, a division rival of both the Phillies and the Braves that we just mentioned. Now, for Washington, this was always going to be a very difficult season. They're in complete rebuild mode. They have no real light ahead of them in terms of when this window for actual competition and competitive baseball coming out of DC is really going to take place. This is a year of, truly trying to figure out a direction for this squad. And right now, there's not a lot to really be hopeful for if you're a fan of the Washington Nationals. They currently find themselves at -22 in the run differential column. And in reality, this is just the beginning of a very, very long season for the Washington Nationals. As we look at the third up, it is the Milwaukee Brewers. When you look at the Brewers, who are 5-1 right now at the time of this recording, and they're up plus 22 in the run differential column, this is a team that is hungry. Now, while the Brewers are a team that is mostly known to be built on pitching, this has really been about the offense for the Milwaukee Brewers. This is going to be a tough division for them to be able to win and compete against teams like the Cubs and the Cardinals, who are also going to be threats to be able to try to claim this division. I think that it's a good start for Milwaukee, especially when dealing with those 2 teams that I just mentioned. but you're also going to be facing off against rebuilding teams in the Cincinnati Reds and Pittsburgh Pirates. And sometimes when you have teams like that have nothing to lose, they become real competition. Now, that being said, I think that Milwaukee has done a tremendous job early in the season, but again, it is still early, so we have to kind of temper our expectations. But for Brewers fans, this is a very positive start. Now, as we get into the third down, it is the Kansas City Royals. They are off to a 1-6 start. Now, Kansas City, much like the Washington Nationals, was always going to be in kind of a rebuild mode. Now, not quite to the same degree, in my opinion, as the Nationals, but I think that the Royals are in a position where they're trying to figure out what they have in their young core and what they have to do to augment that talent. I think that the Royals are much closer to contention than the Nationals are, and that's an obvious statement to make when you have talents like a guy like Bobby Witt Jr. that you can kind of build around. Now, that being said, I think that Kansas City is really in a position where, while they have made some changes to the coaching staff and to the front office, there is still kind of a lack of identity for this Royals team. And I think that there's going to be a very long season ahead of them until they figure out what the direction is, what the identity is of this team. So I think that for the long-term success of the Kansas City Royals, it is going to be up to those talented players on the field. But for now, it is going to be a down for the first part of the season. And lastly, we are looking at one team to be on the lookout for. So if you know what this means, this bolo is for the Cleveland Guardians. I think that they're a team that is very strong and very capable, which is part of the reason why we placed them at #1 in our American League Central predictions in terms of winning the division. I think that they have all of what they need to be able to really augment that division, really be able to take hold of that division and put themselves in a position of success. I think that it's going to be much more difficult this season when you have a healthy team like the Chicago White Sox, who were plagued by injuries last year. The Minnesota Twins, who are also dealt with some injuries and some ineffectiveness, are going to be in a much better position with the moves that they've made this offseason. So I think there's going to be a lot more competition. There's going to be a lot closer competition, in my opinion, for the Guardians to be able to capitalize and continue their progress from what they did last season, 2022, by winning the American League Central. But that being said, I do think that the Guardians are the team that is best positioned to be able to do such things. Right now, they have a 5-2 record going into this weekend of baseball. So it's going to be an interesting week. We're going to be definitely paying attention to what happens over the next coming 7 days. So make sure you keep it locked in here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast, as every Friday we're going to be bringing you our series here on 3 Up and 3 Down, covering the teams that are playing well in Major League Baseball and the teams that aren't. Let me know down in the comments if there's other content that you would like to see from us here at the Baseball Banter Broadcast. It does a huge service for us to know what you guys are interested in as fans of the channel. So if you're a fan of the channel and you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell for post notifications, as most of our audience isn't yet subscribed. So we are trying to grow this baseball family, this baseball community, and by hitting that subscribe button, you are helping to do your part. If you want to find more from us, you can check out our social media pages at TikTok at banter_baseball. You can also find our Instagram and TikTok pages at Baseball Banter Broadcast. You can find our website, laracuenteledger.com, that has a corresponding article up on this very video of 3 Up and 3 Down. Links are in the show notes below to that article. And if you want to show more support beyond that, you can head over to baseballbanterbroadcast.com. It is our merchandise shop, in which we have a ton of promo codes you can use to save on all the different merchandise items that we have here from the Baseball Banter Broadcast. So I will catch you guys on the next broadcast when we banter about baseball. Peace.